Well, good morning and a happy New Year's Day, Reconners. I wanted to show you a quick video this morning of some workflow in our Atla application that just helps illustrate some of the things that we were talking about today around this life cycle from leasing to getting to a well permit for this area in western Seminole County. So we're inside of Atla now. We're going to zoom into the area where this well's going to get drilled in section 2, 7 north, 5 east, again in western Seminole County. First thing we can turn on is some of the lease information. Over the last year, there's been a variety of leases that Reach has been pulling together. We can see those kind of in a grid view here as well. So this is kind of sorted on chronological order, and you can see that Reach has basically been pulling together the leases from the various lessors over this entire section, getting ready to drill up in the northwest quarter. The next thing that was applied for was a location exception, again by Reach, in this case to drill an off-pattern well. Drilling a conventional kind of looks like mostly 80-acre spacing well in a variety of formations here, which you can see in this table as well. That was followed up with a spacing application, and the spacing application was filed, and the final order was made last September. With those spacing orders, again, you can see the formations and the various spacings associated with each formation. You can also start to see the number of respondents that have to be notified of that spacing. The next thing that was filed almost around the same time, or that the order came in right around the time of the permit, was the pooling application. And so again, you can see Reach got their final pooling order from the OCC again around that September timeframe. Again, you can see a list of the respondents that are required to be notified of that pooling. The other thing you can see within that pooling document is get an estimated cost of the well. So down here you can see there's an estimated dry hole cost of around $430,000 and a completed cost of close to $800,000. So it's just an example of some of the other information that you can find in these regulatory filings. Finally culminates really with a permit, and this is the permit that we talked about in today's RECON. In this case, the permit's been filed by, I believe it's actually Greg Hall Oil and Gas. But in this case, you can get some information on that permit. We're going to run a little video here so you can kind of see the progression of each thing that we've shown up to now, just in terms of a kind of a time view. So we're kind of scrolling through time here from early 2020 through the present. You can see kind of the leasing activity with Reach Oil and Gas, the location exception, the pooling, and then hopefully the permit by Greg Hall Oil and Gas. We weren't familiar with that company, and so the other thing I wanted to show you was if we wanted to get some information about that Greg Hall, we could actually go into our search interface. And in this case, rather than looking over 1 year, I can look over all time, and I could simply type in Greg Hall. We can do Greg Hall oil just to narrow it down a little bit, and this will search over the entire database over all time and see anything we find associated with Greg Hall. We can do a quick map results here, and that will take all of this information associated with Greg Hall, regardless of what activity type, whether it's a lease, whether it's a completion, production data associated, and we'll add that to the map. Now you get to get a sense of where else Greg Hall has been active over the state. You can see they're kind of spread out here, kind of southern Pawnee County. Here's some additional activity. Looks like right near where we were just looking. So it looks like they've been active a little bit around that area. Let's go back and let's go back to that search, and just so that we'll also do Hall Greg oil. That's actually what I was looking for. And so we can do a search again. over that, because if it was filed as Hall Greg, it's going to be a different search than Greg Hall. But again, it's pretty easy just to map all those results. And now if you go back to where we're looking, you can see again spread out over the state. But if you go back to this area in Seminole, you can see that they've been filing permits. It looks like up here just north of where this current one is going to be permitted for reach. So it looks like, assuming in this case that Hall is the actual driller and going to be the company that's actually going to drill that well, presumably for reach. So anyway, just a quick example of how we can kind of go from a recon anomaly that we found around just a permit showing up in a section that we haven't seen in a while, seeing the progression of kind of the life cycle of that well from basically leasing to pre-permit regulatory activity all the way through permit. And then finally, when we encounter a business entity like Greg Hall that we haven't seen too much before, it's pretty easy within Atla to go and figure out where else they've been working around the state. So anyway, I hope you have a happy and safe New Year, and we'll see you with Recon in 2021. Thanks.